I welcome everybody. I welcome especially the presenters. We have very illustrious presenters here today. So for this international webinar, which is of the pharmacist, by the pharmacist, and for the pharmacist. Many people ask me why we started this series. Well, I've been a marketeer for about 30 years by now. And in my marketing, most of my prospects as well as customers have been allopathic doctors. Many of them are also been the Ayurvedic doctors and veterinary doctors. But the biggest clientele, of course, is the allopathic doctors. Just hold on. Hello. Request all the presenters and everybody not to change the settings. Somebody had disabled the chat just now. Please don't do that because we need to get the feedback from all the people here. So coming back to the topic I was speaking on, so allopathic practitioners have the largest practice. I have been analyzing, trying to find out why they are such a powerful segment of clientele for me. And I realized they are very powerful because of two reasons. One is they have plenty of associations. These associations constantly meet and there is lot
I'm
of
not hearing his
professional
voice.
linkages between them. And secondly, there is lot of professional knowledge sharing. Because of these two
No,
reasons,
not hearing.
the allopathic practitioners are, of course, one of the biggest practitioners in the clientele list of every pharma company. So the leap we have to take from this is even we pharmacists need to organize ourselves. We need to get a lot of these
I'm
associations
hearing in your side.
very active, building linkages and also ensuring that we are able to spread lot of professional knowledge amongst each other. Only then will this pharmacy profession grow. So let me see the number of attendees now. Well, it is 450. The number is increasing. So the onboarding process is on. So I warmly welcome the stars of today evening. I welcome Dr. Ramesh sir. Please give a wave if you are there. He is the principal and dean of Adichunchanagiri College of Pharmacy. And we have a very illustrious young and I should say energetic professor from Manipal College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Dr. Krishnamurthy Bhat. And he is the first pharmacist to have gone to the Antarctica on an official Indian scientific expedition. Kudos to him. And we have a rare gem among pharmacists, and that is Dr. Bopaya. Dr. Kratish Bopaya is one of the most fascinating entrepreneurs you will ever meet, full of knowledge, full of beans, as they say, lot of energy, and he's one of those few pharmacists who have done PhD and DSc, which is an honorary degree you get for having accomplished several tasks. So I request Dr. Bopana also to just give a wave as an acknowledgement. Thank you very much. 461 people have come. I'm expecting more numbers. Well, this is hosted by Adichunchanagiri University. This is a university which is 100 kilometers away from Bangalore, run by Adichunchanagiri Trust belonging to the Adichunchanagiri Mutt. And this monastery also provides free boarding and lodging to thousands of students. So we also observe that the current pontiff of this Samsthana Mutt or this monastery, Dr. Nirmalanandaji, by the way, this is the photograph of the College of Pharmacy at Adichunchanagiri, and this is the spiritual abode. It was the vision of this abode or this samsthan to offer free food, free knowledge, free health, and 8 different ways of service to society. And all of these are charitable. In fact, the current pontiff, who is the young and dynamic Sri Nirmalanandaji Swamiji, has got a PhD and he's also an MTech from IIT Chennai. So he's a blend of both modern education and traditional education. So let me come to the core of what I want to say as a curtain raiser talk. I believe that we have to do and learn OTC counseling and improve our business. So if you have to do OTC counseling, which is over the counter counseling, as a community pharmacist, it is all about helping the patient understand his condition and his medications. So when we are offering the medications, we give them very practical advice. And please understand, we are more accessible to the patients, no doubt, because we are hardest working health professionals in the entire sphere. And the white coat which we wear also is an insignia which stands for professionalism. They say if you want to be a sportsman, dress like a sportsman. So this is the way in which we have to understand the importance of the white coat ceremony. So in this, when we wear a white coat and we are doing our job as a pharmacist, it is going to give tremendous mileage for our own professional activities. Let us take the case of pharma corona warrior Lakshmi. Miss Lakshmi is a pharmacist, and this lady today has a different protocol. As you can observe, along with the routine white coat, she is also having a protocol to wear the mouth mask, the gloves, carry hand sanitizer. She has a face shield, and she uses personal protection and personal transportation. So this is a different protocol due to the corona, and all of us should definitely follow such a protocol. And when you are doing good counseling, ensure to be a very reliable person. If you do not know, check the notes, check the textbook, and then come back to the question of the patient. But otherwise, tend to be very reliable, have a very good body language, and ensure to communicate clearly when you are doing verbally. Also, ensure to practice active listening and remain clinically objective. Be confidential when it comes to the matters of the pharmacist. There are several questions which the pharmacist will field when he is interacting with the patients. Like, for example, is Ayurveda useful? Well, here Ayush Systems of Medicine has come out with the different types of medicines which are useful, the herbs for this COVID management to improve the immunity. So you can cite them and show which are all the medications that are available in Ayurveda. So this will help you also improve the business outcomes. A patient may ask, what is this immunity? So that is when you have to appreciate the patient will understand when you explain that the skin and the mucous membrane are the first line of defense, and the second line of defense being the white blood cells in the blood, which are responsible for production of not only the antibodies but also the cell eating. Now, normally viruses cause self-limiting infection, but in this case, we are not able to suppress this infection. So we need to improve the immunity. So when patients ask you which are all the immune boosting substances, ensure to mention zinc, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D3, and polyphenol. Remember, vitamin C and zinc are not stored in the body. Daily intake is required. So it is important for the patient to consume enough amount of vitamin C and zinc. So that is a selling opportunity for you. And also it has been noticed if there are low vitamin D3 levels, there is an association of higher number of COVID-19 cases, because vitamin D3 boosts immunity and also produces anti-TB peptide cathelicidin also. Similarly, it produces various types of various types of proteins that are responsible for immunity. So ensure to highlight the vitamin C, zinc, selenium, curcumin, protein supplements, and also hand hygiene like inocept and oral hygiene. Now, as a pharmacist, you can also encourage blood sugar testing. That will help you get repeat patients, because low cost fasting blood sugar checking is something that you can do. Ensure to explain how the pen insulin can be administered, like pinching the skin and keeping the pen at a 45-degree angle and then injecting it. This is something in a standing position, it is easier to do. This is something that nobody explains properly. Please do that. Similarly, you can talk about the importance of alkalizer oral solutions, because they are important today with a lot of liver disease, alcoholic patients, and diabetics. It is important that they start taking such medications. So tell them that high uric acid is also an important dangerous situation, and they should consult the doctor. Brown bag consultation is also an interesting concept. Ask the patient to bring all the items that they are having in their house, which they are taking for OTC. You will be surprised to see they will be taking 2-3 analgesic, one analgesic for headache, analgesic for even the knee pain. So all this will lead to a lot of complications like nephrotoxicity. So counter selling can improve when you are doing lot of counseling. Help the patient if he wants to reduce his smoking or he wants to avoid the alcohol habit. And when he is asking about the SARS-CoV-2 virus COVID-19, explain how the Wuhan wildlife white market was responsible for the generation of this COVID-19 infection, where lots of wildlife animals are also sold. And also the bat, which is consumed by them, is housing up to 1,500 viruses. So it's a reservoir of pathogens. Explain how the immune system differs there. So it can transmit from the bat to various animals, which are then consumed by human beings and also leads them to get the virus. So this virus, a biological attacker, is invisible to the eye and is there in the respiratory droplets and salivary droplets. So not only when he coughs and sneezes, but also when he speaks, there is a lot of distribution of these droplets containing the virus. The symptoms, tiredness, fever, and dry cough are well known. Along with that, in the vulnerable patients, particularly diabetics, hypertensives, it may increase. In the fatal cases, the ground glass effect is seen in the lungs. COVID toes is an interesting thing where you will see that the reddish purplish toe with burning sensation is seen. And this is a unique case where the skin coloration changed during the treatment period for Dr. E, who was one of the afflicted patients, and also Dr. Who. Probably this was due to the various treatment liver stresses caused. However, they regained their color back. And another symptom that has been noticed is hyposmia or anosmia, that is the smell sensation goes away in the COVID-19 patient. The global lockdown hence has been enforced. So ensure that patients do not touch, and you also do not touch your mouth, eyes and nose. For this, you please use your non-dominant hand. That is, if you are a right-handed person, use your left hand to touch the contact surfaces, because automatically we are known to touch 16 to 23 times an hour our face. Keep social distancing. If you allow the patient inside, if he is infected, because of the ceiling fan AC, it may circulate if he is speaking or coughing. So this is an important point. Please understand the WHO method. Teach that to also the hand washing skill to the patients. So after the soap, liquid soap is put, please wash both the palms, then the between the fingers, the thumb, and back of the hand. This is how you will have to demonstrate to the patient. If it is the hand sanitizer, please ensure that 1 rupee coin worth of hand sanitizer is placed. Again, the palms have to be washed, back and front, between the fingers and the nails. So this can be kept at the front door of the house or in the shop. And in the shop, please use it at least 2 to 3, after every 2 to 3 patients, please use it once. And ensure to encourage digital payments. Don't touch the currency notes, keep it aside in a box, or ensure that you take the currency note, and if your hands are having the sanitizer, rub it like this over, and then you use that currency note. When you get the stock from the stockist salesman, please keep it aside for about 12 hours and then put it back to your shelves, because he may be also carrying, you just don't know. Even when you're talking, 2.5 microscopic saliva droplets are released per word. So which means there will be a lot of spraying of these COVID-19 viral particles from the patients. Fumigation and fogging are also done to ensure that there will be a lot of safety for the pharmacies. So please ensure to do this. The fundamental law is, consider that everybody who is coming to your premises is an asymptomatic carrier of COVID-19. And also, to be successful as a counselor, you should ensure to have a true smile. There is a true smile and a false smile. This is called as a true smile, Duchenne smile. So this Duchenne smile reaches up to your eyes. If the Duchenne smile has been established to be, linked to the well-being, marriage, as well as career. They followed a woman. They took a class photograph in Mills College. They tracked the women 30 years down the line. Those who are smiling genuinely, they were found to have better life, better marriage, better career. So please ensure to have a Duchenne smile. This is a beautiful girl, but her smile is not Duchenne. It is a false smile. Now I am presenting you a seductive smile and saying that, pharma warriors, you are doing a great job. Please ensure to have a great smile when you are doing your counseling activities. Before I ask Dr. Ramesh to take over, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Ramesh, the principal of the Adichunchanagiri College of Pharmacy. He is an M Pharm and PhD, and also he has been active in several, what do you say, IPA, APTA, and many other organizations. He's done research for 20 years and organized many events at the international and national level. So I request the principal of Adichunchanagiri College of Pharmacy, Dr. Ramesh, to take over. Thank you, sir. Please speak, Dr. Ramesh, sir.
Thank you, Sunil Chiplankar.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Excellent, sir. You are very clear.
Thank you for your introductory note, Mr. Sunil. I heartily welcome all the participants and my co-panelists, Dr. Bopanna and Dr. KL Bhat, and also the President of Karnataka Registered Pharmacists Association, Mr. Kaushik Devaraju. I take this opportunity to share my thoughts about the opportunities for continuous learning in the light of Education 4.0. So now, today, we are sitting in the position of Lockdown 4.0 and we are discussing about Education 4.0, which is in the later way. So during this lockdown, let us knock down the lockdown and unlock all our potential to implement this Education 4.0. This Education 4.0, I will share my thoughts for the next maybe for 10 minutes. I think before understanding the Education 4.0, let us have an bird's view about Industry 4.0. So we all know that industry now currently running on, when I mention about industry, it includes pharmaceutical industry also. So Industry 1.0, which is started in 17th century, it is based on the steam and hydropower based machines, which involves the both manpower and labors. And the industry in the 19th century beginning, it is called as Industry 2.0. It is operated instead of steam and hydropower. It is dependent on electrically operated machines and lesser usage of manpower. And in 1970s, we come out with an Industry 3.0 that is nothing but digital revolution with technological advancement, where machines are abrogated the manpower and labors. So now currently, most of the industries are operating on 4.0, which is nothing but computerization and manufacturing, which is more dependent on the various new technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, 3D printing, augmented reality, big data analytics, robotics, advanced human-machine interfaces. All those things are incorporated in Industry 4.0. So at least this paradigm shift has started in industry. To in align with this Industry 4.0, obviously as an educators, we have to have this policy for Education 4.0 also. Education 4.0, this is also we will try to understand on the lines of Industry 4.0. Education 1.0 in the centuries way back, it is experience with the memorization kind of thing. And the secondly, Education 2.0, in the new millennium, students and teachers started using the technology in a basic way, using the available little internet sources and all. And in Education 3.0, as a technology is advanced, students had their own access to the information option and option to learn virtually and connect to the faculty and other students. It is more of network based approach. So now currently most of the educational institution trying to follow the new Education 4.0, which is nothing but empowering the education to produce innovation. It is a kind of cyber physical system. We have to understand that there is a survey which mentions about 60% of all the occupations could be potentially have at least 1/3 of their activities automated. Then students need to be trained on this Education 4.0. So in this Education 4.0, Every student is an engaged learner, and the teacher is an caring educator and parent and supportive partner. So this is a student-centric, value-driven education paradigm. This is education 4.0. And when we try to compare these align industry requirement with education, so in most of the industries, we have left side, we have representation of industry, and right side is education. So flexible production line. So here we can, in education 4.0, we can make tailor-made learning path. We can ask the students to choose his subject of interest. And when it comes to industry online quality control, here in the education, instead of summative assessment, we can go for formative assessments. And workers monitor the automation. So in the education, obviously the teachers become the mentors, and they observe the learners very closely. In the case of industry, we have a custom product. So here we have divergence and pluralism, which needs to be addressed in education 4.0. And system engineering in case of industry, which is nothing in the education, it is nothing but education is a goal. In industry, long life learning, here continuous teachers training. So these are the few thoughts for how we can correlate this industry and education 4.0. And what is education 4.0? So let us see, the education 4.0 is a desired approach to learning that aligns itself with the emerging fourth industrial revolution. And this industrial revolution focuses on smart technology, artificial intelligence, and robotics, all of which now it will have an impact on everyday lives. For universities to continue to produce successful graduates, they must prepare their students for a world where these cyber physical systems are prevalent across all the industries. Again, education 4.0 also, it depends on artificial intelligence, incorporating the things, machine learning, 3D printing, and data science, all these robotics. So along with this, you must be aware that along with this Alexa and Watson, in 2018, US FDA has approved the marketing of artificial intelligence based medical screening device, and which does not require clinical analyze the findings. So like this, there are one more chat box that is called as Becky, which provides on the basis of artificial intelligence, it gives the solution to the various students' problem also. So like this, technology driven education 4.0 is in the card, for which we all stakeholders have to prepare and plan the things to implement this in our day-to-day curriculum delivery. So education 4.0 in a nutshell, anywhere, anytime kind of thing, it is personalized depending on the need of the learner, that is student, and flexible delivery on various devices and techniques and tools. And peers and mentors will play an important role. Why, where, not what, how. So the practical applications of these various technology and tools, then modular and projects, student ownership, and more importantly, the last side, right hand side corner slide that may not be visible, students are evaluated, not examined. On day-to-day activity, they are evaluated, and examination is not the only the criteria to assess the student. And we have to assess what type of learner we are. So I want to give the picture of maybe a little some 10 to 20 seconds delay is there between audio and video. I think all of you are
no, there is no delay, Dr. Saab. Please continue. You are coming forth very clear and straight.
Okay, now we see the learning pyramid, which depicts the knowledge retention rates by various methods and all. So on the top of the pyramid, you can see the first four pyramid structures. It represents passive teaching methods. By lectures, students can retain their knowledge for 5%, and by reading, they can retain the knowledge for 10%, and audiovisual 20%, and 30% by demonstration. This is a passive teaching methods. by and large, in culmination with latest technology, almost all the teaching institutions will follow this. So apart from these passive teaching methods, if you see down the bottom of pyramid, that is participatory teaching methods. So by discussion group, the students will retain the knowledge 50%, and the 75% of the students, by practicing and doing, they understand better with practical knowledge and problem based learning. And 90% of the knowledge can be retained by teaching others. Teaching others means by discussing with peers also will contribute for this participatory teaching methods, which is an highlight of education 4.0, I believe. So how we can adapt this learning environment? So there are few important points to be considered. Accelerate remote learning. The role of classroom will change, wherein theoretical knowledge will be imparted outside the classroom, while practical or experiential knowledge will also be imparted face to face. Then personalized learning. This will help the teachers to identify the strength and weakness of the student and individually guide them accordingly. The third one is project-based learning to teach them organizational skills, time management skills, and collaborative skills that they can further use in their academic career as well as employment. The next one is choice of educational tools. So this is very important. The techniques like blended learning, BYOD, bring your own device, and flipped classrooms are the few examples for this choice of educational tools. So like this, field specific experience, data analysis, changes in the exam pattern and assessment, these are all the few important drivers for this adopting new learning environment. So now we have come across the various terminologies like pedagogy, andragogy. So now new more terminology that is called as pedagogy, which is derived from pedagogy. Peer learning is an educational practice in which students interact with other students to attain educational goals. So this is peer learning also plays an important role by creating a wisdom starting from data, information, and knowledge. So by applying this pedagogy, students can become a change maker. So one more terminology that is called as cyberogogy, that is creating a learner-centered, autonomous, and collaborative virtual learning environment. Now, during this COVID, we have, instead of classroom, we have entered the living room of the students, where we have conducted the many online classes using the cyber technology. That has become the order of the day. And this is a busy slide. I will just try to explain. This is a future work skills of 2020. The one which is represented in big circle, there are 6 drivers which disruptive shift that will reshape the workforce landscape. And those who represent the small circle, they are also key skills needed in the future workforce. So coming to the left hand side, big circle, that is extreme the top one, extreme longevity, that is the green one. Increasing in the global lifespan changes the nature of career and learning. And the second driver of this future work skill 2020, rise of smart machine and system like Alexa and Watson are in place now. The third one is new media ecology. The communication tools require new media literacies beyond the test. And fourth driver is computational world. There is a massive increase in sensors and processing power, make the world programmable system. And the fifth one is superstructured organization, wherein we can produce a state smart, multiple intelligent person with the help of social technologies drive new form of production of value creation. So the last driver for this future work skill is globally connected world. Increased global interconnectivity puts diversity and adaptability at the center of organizational operations. So these are the few important aspects. So now let us shift over to the 10 important skills that future workforce requires. The first one is sense making, ability to determine the deeper meaning and significance of what is being expressed. The second one is novel and adaptive thinking, proficiency at thinking and coming up with the solution and a response beyond that which is rule based. And third one is social intelligence, ability to connect to others in a deep and direct way, to sense and stimulate reactions and desired interactions. And the fourth one is transdisciplinarity, the literacy and ability to understand the concept across the multiple discipline is one of the key skills that is required in the new era. And the sixth one is computational thinking, ability to translate vast amount of data into abstract concepts and to understand data-based reasoning. The seventh, the key skill that is required in 2020 onwards, cognitive load management, ability to discriminate and filter information for importance and understand how to maximize cognitive functioning using a variety of tools. And the eighth one is cross-cultural competency. So this is very important. So when students visit abroad and take a career in the abroad, they have to understand this cross-cultural competency, that is nothing but ability to operate in different cultural settings. So ninth one is virtual collaboration. It is ability to work productively, drive engagement and demonstrate presence as a member of virtual team also. So last one is design mindset, that is ability to represent and develop task and work process for desired outcomes. So these are the key important skills which is required for the future. So in the nutshell, in the conclusion, we can mention that if we teach today's students as we taught yesterday, we rob them of tomorrow. And in doing so, I have a few more slides. By doing this education 4.0, nobody should be afraid of, especially the teacher fraternity. Technology won't replace all the teachers, but technology won't replace all the teachers, but teachers who use technology effectively
Hello?
will probably see. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, there's something hanging. You please close. Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes, yes.
I will take 2 more minutes to wind up.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks to the various government initiatives, in 2019, Government of India has come out with the draft proposals for a new educational policy 2019, which comprises of all these education 4.0. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
yes. Continue.
Somebody is operating my sites.
No,
No,
please
no, you
continue,
are
sir. Please
operating.
continue, sir.
Please continue.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So Central Government of India in 2019 have come out with a draft proposals for national education policy, which will take care of education 4.0 by and large. So thanks to the policymakers, I congratulate the team of Pharmacy Council of India who collaborated with LSSDC, that is Life Science Sector Skill Development Council, to bridge the gap between this industry and academia. What is the skill, how to fill that gap is under consideration, and PCI is also taking participatory role in this, and also combining with AICT, they are doing direct discovery hackathon. So like this, there are various initiatives from Pharmacy Council of India also, and many universities are adopting now the MOOC model, MOOC, that is massive open online courses on various platforms, which are freely available during this pandemic lockdown session. Even the Coursera, Udemy, there are so many educational tools which are open now. I request all the delegates to participants to make use of this. So it is a high time to focus and revamp the pharma education system, right from delivery techniques and mentoring techniques, and introducing the futuristic subjects and content for future-ready pharmacists. So these are the references. Uh, I thank all of you for this patient hearing. The key, how the plan way ahead is to introspect and integrate and implement and evaluate, engage and enhance by observing the quality, uniformity and adaptability. Thank you. Thank you one and all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ramesh sir. That was a very authoritative and a futuristic outlook on how we can continuously be learning. And this learning is very important to be contemporary, because it is always known it is not the strongest of the species that survives, but it is the adaptable of the species that survives. And
Yes.
adaptation means learning. Thank you for emphasizing the different modes of learning. Now we go on to Dr. K.M. Bhat. Dr. K.M. Bhat is an amazing guy. Okay. Now I know him very closely, even personally. He has got several feats to his credit. First of all, he's a very popular lecturer in and professor in. Why I said lecturer is basically he's a teacher. Okay, he is very, very popular in Manipal College of Pharmaceutical Sciences. Number one. Number two, he has got a very disciplined way of doing things that has resulted in his perseverant attitude and amazing feats in his life. He is the first pharmacist to go on the scientific expedition to Antarctica. He will give us more details what he did there. 39th Indian scientific expedition to Antarctica. He has got the best poster award. He has got the Indian Drugs Best Paper Award 2003. He has also got the Distinguished Alumni Award of JSS Mysore. He's got the in a Japanese conference. He got the Best Paper Award and so on. So it's replete with a number of glories in his life. But I'll leave the station to Dr. K.M. Bhat, because all of the people are definitely waiting to listen to you in person. Dr. K.M. Bhat, please take over. Please put on the audio, Dr. K.M. Bhat. Audio. Please put on the audio. Yeah, now you are clear. Start.
Yeah, thank you, Sunil. Thank you for that long and probably a little over enthusiastic introduction.
Enthusiastic, yes, but no exaggeration. Sorry to interrupt.
Anyway, perceptions differ. Now, I'll be talking on quality and learning attitude of pharmacy professionals, and I have specifically tailored it for community and hospital pharmacists, because I was told they are the large number in this whole assembly of people. You will also see some of these slides like this, some of those pictures in my slide. Essentially, those pictures would be my Antarctic expedition pictures, because Mr. Sunil was insisting that I am the first pharmacist to visit Antarctica on scientific expedition. So I have only put certain pictures. Maybe in between I would give you some detail or some brief explanation of those pictures. Now, these bottom two red lines, which you can see, which is Antarctic continent, and these are the 2 points where I have visited, where Indian research stations are there. That happened in between October 2019 and February 2020. Now, coming to and essentially my presentation would try to answer 3 questions: why learn, how to learn, and what to learn. Plus, I would also briefly touch upon how to evaluate learning. Now, coming to some of the aspects which are very applicable to most of us here, is the Drug and Cosmetic Act. Now, in 2017, I have picked up 3 examples to showcase the importance of continuous learning. In 2017, the DNC Act was amended, wherein which all forms need to be renewed. Unlike earlier, the law, the Drugs and Cosmetic Act said that once the form is issued, I mean license is issued, any license, whether it is under 20 or 21 or including 24, 25 and 32, is valid unless otherwise it is withdrawn for various reasons. Now, of course, provided you pay their fees every 5 years. Now, in 2017 amendment says that's not so. There will be an inspection nearing the end of the licensing period. And of course, local authorities would arrange for for the inspection, and then 1 month notice and 7 days, 1 month prior to the expiry and 7 days notice, etc. There, which probably I would not go into. But the crux of the issue is, if you don't know that license continuation of your license would call for some inspection, you may be in trouble. So it is imperative for all of us to know this. Now, the pictures above, left hand side, where you can see a bright sun, just to show how the atmosphere in Antarctica is. This is a picture which is taken at 2:45 in the midnight at Antarctica.
Oh.
On 25th November 2019. And this is the other one is a typical airport in Antarctica. Now, the other amendment which was made in last year is about the Sugam portal, usage of Sugam portal. You need to, like, e-gateway. Sugam is a e-gateway of the drug regulators of India, where we need to upload the documents, and then those documents can be accessed by our regulators. Now, this is also brought through amendment to the Drugs and Cosmetic Act, the section 84. Now, if we don't know this, again, as the community pharmacists, we may be in deep trouble if everything, like olden days, if you're doing it on paper and if it is not uploaded into Sugam portal, then one fine day inspector may come and ask you where are your details online. Right? So these amendments are something which we as community pharmacists should know. And this picture is again a typical airport in Antarctica, and you can see this is the flight in which I traveled for around 2,500 kilometers. Depressurized flight, there is no pressure difference, and atmospheric temperature is what is inside, and then it has no navigation system. There are no ATCs in Antarctica. So essentially you fly on a simple instrument called as GPS, which we also use in our mobile, nothing more than that. Right? So that is what is the risk you carry when you travel in such countries, such continents. Now, the next thing, again, which is important for all of us, about the medical devices. We may think that medical devices is something which is a specialized area. No, even a common chemist selling thermometer is selling a medical device. Thermometer is also a medical device. It's class 4 device. That's okay. Class D in Indian regulations. But then it is a device. So these things are applicable to us, and more importantly, so they are considered as drugs now. So you need the same legal. You have to meet the same legal requirements as drugs to sell those devices as well. And then another important amendment which was made on the same day, and will be effective 1st March 2021, is that all drug marketeers should, all drug marketers should have some MOU with the manufacturer. Somebody who is having a very strong marketing network cannot market the drugs manufactured by anybody and everybody. This, of course, people in the profession would know it better. There are a lot of cases which the big pharma companies manufacturing some spurious drugs and then say it's not our problem, it is the problem of the manufacturer, but they take all the money out of it. So these things can be, these things will be prevented once this comes into picture. Now, the other two photographs here you can see are
Sunil sir, I think Krishnamurthy Bhat sir has lost his connection, I believe.
Something, it got still. What to do? Shall I give him a call?
Give him a call.
No, he's moving. He's thinking that he is talking.
No. He has left the
He has
room.
left the room, huh?
Yeah, he has left the room.
What happened? Yeah, what to do? What happened?
Shall we move on to Bopana sir? How is it, sir?
No, what happens? Then
Okay,
how to
fantastic,
come
fantastic.
back? Just give 30 seconds.
Okay.
How much time you have?
We have got another 30-35 minutes. No issues.
Time was 4:40. That's the reason.
I have 20 more minutes. I'll just check up with him what happened to his connection. Well,
I think he has joined. He has joined.
he
Once.
has joined. Okay. I request attendees to be on the platform. Please don't go away. There is a technical glitch. It happens probably with this connectivity there, internet connectivity.
okay. Am I?
Yeah, you're
But
audible, but
please
you're
come
not
back.
visible.
Your video, please put it on.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
you're audible. Yes. Loud and clear. Yes, please proceed.
I don't know. Sorry, there was some problem,
Yes.
and I got. I mean, the whole screen went blank.
Okay.
Can I continue?
Yes,
Yeah,
please continue.
please continue, sir.
We are waiting for you.
Hello.
We are waiting. Please continue.
Hello.
Yeah. Please continue. Batra,
Okay.
continue, Madi.
Now, this is
Please continue, but Batra, please continue. We can see you. Hello.
hello.
Yeah, please continue, but
Okay. These two. This is the Indian research station by name Bharti at Antarctic, and this is me in front of that station. Now, so these amendments. Now, if we don't study these amendments, or if we don't learn them in real time, we will be in as the practice profession. Now, how do we develop this learning attitude? Learning attitude is essentially to stay curious. We need to be curious about what we are learning, and then we need to be aware of what is happening around our world, and then be ready to learn. That's probably should have been number one, right? And then it has to be, as Dr. Ramesh was saying, a collective learning. That's what is called share your knowledge. Participative learners attitude, and then try to find answers to the questions whatever you get, and that's one of the most important process of learning. Don't accept anything which is told to you. Ask questions, and then try to find answers or your own, and then read as much as you can whenever you find time, or make time for reading. And that is how that's what is the this like the of a good learn. Now, how to learn? Before knowing how to learn, we should be open for learning. And then we should also have a timetable for learning. When, at what time, which hour of my day I'm going to use for learning. Okay, and then of course with the internet at place now, learning has become all the more easier. Essentially, most of the sites, if you add, there is something called as RSS feed, which can tell you if there is any changes, any amendments which are made. It can immediately pop up and give you the signal. Then you can go back and learn, right? And prioritize your goals and duties. What do you want to learn is also equally important. And then upgrade yourself intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. Emotional and spiritual health is as important as the intellectual health is. So don't read just about some about the profession, or whether about something which brings you money, but also read something which brings you peace as well. Now, how do you evaluate learning? How do you know whether the quality of your learning is good? The quality of learning should meet these 7 parameters. What are they? Navigate knowledge. Whatever you have learned, you should be able to utilize it, that knowledge, or that knowledge should be useful to you when you are transacting, you're doing your daily business. And that should develop the executive skills in you. And the learning should be very constructive and active. Active is involved learning. And then it should be cumulative. Cumulative in the sense, what you have learned yesterday should add to what you have learned today. And sorry, it's the other way around. What you are learning today should add to what you have learned yesterday, and what you have learned today should add to what you are going to learn tomorrow. And at the end of this one learning cycle, you will have the complete knowledge. And then self-regulate and reflect. Sit back after some learning time, sit back and see whether what you have learned, and whether those whatever you have learned, do they meet the above 4 criteria, right? And then during learning, you should fail. Right? Failure is the one which teaches us more than what success teaches. So enable, and it also makes us capable of handling those failures. So you should fail and then learn more. In all this, the attitude of trainers is as important as that of the learners. And then at the end of the day, what you have learned is as important as what you feel you have learned. So there should be something called a self-satisfaction in the whole learning process. If the learning, whatever you do in your professional life meets all these criteria, then obviously you can be sure of the quality of your learning. I forgot this. These are the photographs of me collecting some samples at Antarctic. This is you will be surprised to know this whole thing is sea. Okay, this is frozen in the month of November, December, and this is a lake, of course, which you can see slightly melted, but otherwise some part of the lake is still frozen. That was in the month of January. Okay, this quality of learning is that is how the quality of learning is judged. With this, I'll end my talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. K.M. Bhat. That was very interesting. There are a lot of questions. Congratulations. Many congratulations to you for having many feathers in your cap. I'll come back to you during the Q&A for some questions which have been posed. Now I'll go ahead to the next speaker, the illustrious Dr. Kratish Bopanna. In fact, he is iconic. His biodata is something that inspires everybody, and it gives pointers to how we can develop our careers. I have described him as a pharma gem who has a rare DSc postdoctoral degree. and that too from the University of Washington or Washington University of USA. So the only other person I know of, maybe there are others who have got this BSc degree, is of course inimitable Dr. B. Suresh sir, PCI chairman. So over 25 years of work experience in very large global pharmaceutical companies, Dr. Bopanna has led different companies, whether it is pharmaceutical, information technology, healthcare R&D, and so on. He has worked with several big names, right from Manipal, Equinova to AstraZeneca, TCS. He is currently serving as a director in several companies, which includes the health, nutraceutical, sports, and medical devices companies. So his is a glittering biodata and is considered to be a thought leader in the field of clinical and drug development. He is the past president of Indian Society of Clinical Research, advisory council member of DIA, past national committee member, Government of India, and he has been in the board of management of JSS Medical University, Mysore. He got his PhD from NIMHANS, National Institute of in psychopharmacology from the Mental Health and Neurosciences Institute, which is a very important organization of India. He has been a gold medalist in graduate and undergraduate program. He has 30 publications and 50 presentations in national and international conferences. He is a golfer and a core Kurgi. Why I say a core Kurgi is, normally Kurgis are very large-hearted individuals, down to earth, very courageous people. They go to the next level with lot of courage. He has all the attributes of what you can call a Kurgi, because I am basically a Mysurian, so we know who Kurgis are. Thank you very much, and over to Dr. Bopanna.
Thank you, Sunil, for that illustrious introduction. Though I sent him a very short CV, he made it look a little large. Honestly, to me, this is a discussion I always have, and it is very important for every budding students, than anybody who has started his career or in the mid of their career to understand. One thing, you should be very clear. There's a lot of difference between education and qualification. Most of us are qualified enough, but we are not educated enough. And the subtle difference between education and qualification is we take pride in our qualification, but we never take pride in the education. I think if you look at Sunil Chiplankar, Dr. Krishnamurthy Bhat, and Dr. Ramesh, themselves as well as their talk, it is fully about how somebody can improve their knowledge and attitude. The most important subject one has to believe is that we all have a belief system in ourselves. And the belief system is developed by us through certain perceptions that we carry from our childhood, through our learning from their family, friends, elders, and finally, when you graduate over a period of time, you try to inculcate some good habits and what I call as experience. So belief and experiences, when we add to knowledge and attitude, makes you a different personality altogether, or persona altogether. Now let me just give some examples, since I don't really get into so much technical about everything. I like to take some simple examples of a life. Let me just take example of Dr. Krishnamurthy Bhat, Sunil Chiplankar, and Ramesh, and the way I met them over a period of time. And I will relate how that is so important for all of you to take some experiences. My association with Krishnamurthy Bhat is almost like close to 25 years. Not 25 years, maybe 30 years, over 30 years. I'll tell you, my association with him started as a junior to him in college. Then I met him as a lecturer for my first quality program in Ahmedabad when he was a master graduate student. Of course, then we worked together in one organization. We were the founding members of that company. Then, of course, after that, we became very good friends. I think it's like, if I can tell you, in every transition, I've seen Krishnamurthy Bhat as a different person altogether at every level. Never ever of course, in students, we are different people altogether. We have their, as I said, we have some beliefs and experiences. But the day I landed in Ahmedabad, entire my perception about Bhat changed. He took me right from railway station to show me Ahmedabad. That was the first time I went to different part of the country. That means from your core state of Karnataka, apart from the IPCs, we used to travel to Delhi and other places. But Krishnamurthy Bhat took me across and made me to walk through streets of Ahmedabad in the heat, about 40, 41 degrees centigrade, 42 degrees centigrade, and make me to understand how difficult his life is all about. It's not just, and he told me a lot of things about academics, LM College of Pharmacy, and what happens in research. It gave me a different structure altogether. I'll come back to it. What is my end point about it? Okay. I met next person I met before I heard about Sunil a lot. I'll come back later to him. I met Ramesh in one of those programs at Century Club, where Dr. B. Suresh had invited me for some expert opinion of the college, APTI, and some other activities he was doing. He wanted me as a observer to come and gain some knowledge, and also to understand the whole thing that happens. So I met him. Now, one gentleman was all the time waving his hands and gave a card to me, and he followed up with me very judiciously on those days, no WhatsApp, at least email and phone calls, and made me to take him to his college to give a talk to his students. And he kept on messaging me for one or other reason, showing the progress of the institution. So I'll come back to it, the end objective, a little later. Third, I met Sunil was my senior. I think one of the things which I've taken from Sunil was, during the college days, was the students magazine he started in the college. What Sunil today is doing, what you see, like connecting people, networking, whatever he said about marketing and the rest of the things, it was his core belief he had when he was a student. He started a wonderful magazine called Students Magazine during his college days, and he built it over a period of time, which has continued for years together. And we were part of that editorial committee. I took it over, and so many things happened. We gave a different color to that. So what is that? Can you just move the slides, please? Next slide. Okay, I should do it. Okay. So what is that you've seen in all of them? Okay, one, you can see all of them add one thing, that is leadership. And they were different. And that's the reason I said one has to be a different person if you want to see something great in the pharmaceutical world by the students, by the community pharmacists. It cannot be the routine stuff. So what I thought is, what are the three important things that that are important? But I was going through an interesting article written in Forbes magazine. The Forbes magazine is one of the wonderful magazines which give you a lot of insights about the success stories. So one of those success stories, they had about 6 different behaviors. I thought I'll just take 3 important behaviors. This is nothing to do with me. I've taken these 3 behaviors. That one is a core motivational shift. Now, it's something like this, right? Why is it we are all born with a limitless potential, yet few people fulfill those possibilities? Isn't it? This is something we all ask ourselves. Why is it we are all born with limitless potential, yet very few people fulfill those possibilities? And it's something, I will extend that a little bit more. Just think about it a little carefully. A hungry stomach will not allow its owner to forget it, whatever his cares and sorrows are. Now imagine, now, what is that core motivational shift? Now, I just go back to the current endemic or pandemic, what we want to call, or epidemic in your own way. You just sit and introspect. Most of the people are worried whether I'm going to get my salary, whether going to increase my business, whether I'm going to get a stimulus from the government, will my tax will come down, will I lose my job, will I be able to sustain my life? I think these are the fundamental questions we ask every day in and day out, but none of them are, or most of them, or I don't want to say none of them, are in a position today to shift your motivation. That is, what is that I need to do? The moment you start thinking about the 6 or 7 things which I said, you are in a completely negative world. You are thinking how to, you are already stressed. You are already in the future or in the past. You are not at the present. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would request all of you to think, what is that is going to change me? What is the change that I need to bring? I'll just give my personal example. I was doing extremely well as a senior medical advisor at AstraZeneca. I was about to become head the department, and I was about to shift it to Singapore for a larger role in my life. But in 2004, I went and put my paper. I had 9 years of experience. So then the managing director, Lars Wallen, who was a Swedish guy, said, what is that who is making you to leave this company? Okay, so that I want to fix it. He's a Swedish guy. He doesn't want people to leave their company. So he asked me, what is that one thing I need to do so that you can remain in this company? I said, I've stopped learning. Okay, and I'm very comfortable in the job I'm doing. Now that is the motivational shift. You know what, I'll tell you, I was a president for this Toastmasters Club, which is a public speaking forum, which I suggest everyone to join and improve your public speaking or communication skills. This club, where I used to go, I used to meet a lot of these guys in IT companies. That is, they're in Wipro or Infosys, or many of those related companies are some multinational companies, Oracle or IBM and others. I think I have time, right? Another 5 minutes or something? Hello? Have a time, Sunil?
Yes. You have time. Take your time. No
Please
problem.
proceed, sir. Please proceed.
Okay. So what I realized when I was in the communication club, I realized I'm really a dumb guy in the whole troop. I was not learning something new, what all these youngsters used to know. I was getting restless. I was thinking, and I was feeling very uneasy. But in my position in AstraZeneca or anywhere else, people would have continued for years. Then after 10 years, they would realize how stale I am. And I'm not learning anything new now. I'm just doing the same thing, trying to please my boss. I am working for him or keep his motivational level, but my core motivational would never shift. So I made a decision to move from that to an IT company at that point of time. And that was very, very essential for me to understand how does an IT work. So when I joined Tata Consultancy Services, the company was $1 billion company, okay? And I was a 50,000 employee or something that time. Of course, now TCS is a 6 lakh or 8 lakh people around the world. It has grown into some 16 or 18 times after that. I'm just giving an example. What is that motivational shift one should have? So please relook your career by yourself. Start looking at what you're doing right, what you're not doing right. So it's important for you to introspect and start looking. Look at what others have done. Ramesh could have sat that day in that meeting like most of the professors or the principal of that college. He need not meet me or talk to me or send his card or made me to come to his college and speak. What was that core motivational shift he had? He found there is a value that I can create, or he found something in me that can make a change in himself or his team or whatever it is. So that is the core motivational shift he had. And that is something is very, very important for all of us to look at. I'm not saying that he called me and made me feel good or something. That was not his motivation. His motivation was to show how is his college, what is he doing he doing right. So I'm just giving an example. These type of things somebody has to make. Now let me come back to my second the important thing here. This is a beautiful book written called Jobs Done. Okay, so in there I found there are a few things that drives you that some people discover their jobs, some people determine the current approaches, some people also understand the pain points. Very few people identify the success criteria. They investigate the obstacles. As a result of that, we don't create value and we inculcate competition, you'll be thrown out from your job. So now it's very important for you at this stage, you go back to the first few slides, which I put in a pink color here, and try to discover the jobs you've done, jobs you want to do, and the jobs which you're going to drive. If you don't have, and you should always think, what will happen if I do this job continuously for the next 5 years? Am I learning something new? No, I think the answer is no. So keep your motivation. I'll just give a simple example. This COVID times, I was thinking that what am I going to do apart from washing vessels with my wife and helping her to do what objectives at the home, and also to teach my kids of new things in life or science or whatever it is. So I took some, there's a beautiful, one of my juniors in the college sent me a nice link called edX courses, the EDX courses, which gives you some newness, new courses which you can do with reputed international university. I'm happy to say that I've taken some 2 programs, one on fitness, nutrition, and exercise, and completed it. And the same thing I've done with Harvard on principles of biochemistry. So it's just to go back to your basics and start understanding what is glycolysis, what happens in gluconeogenesis, what happens to your body, how much energy you consume, how do you establish. These are fundamental questions you have to ask. And many people start asking me about how does a virus attaches, what happens to you. So you should be able to understand how does a vaccine really work. How many of us really went back and studied nucleosides and nucleotides? None of us would have done it. So it's important for all of us to go back and create a value about what you do. So the second important set of people I've seen are inertia breakers. Now, see, Sunil could have completed his college without doing anything those days. And he could have now, he is a vice president of a large pharmaceutical marketing company. He could have done all these things. So as Kaushik, who's sitting there, why on a weekend, back to back, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, spending almost 2 hours in front of a camera or webinar, and also preparing everybody, sending a mail every day, making everybody understand this. Why did they do that? Because that brings the satisfaction to us, isn't it? Parents have made you educated, or given you education to you, not only to get a job, but also to help to others to gain what they want. Now, what did Bhat told you that in his presentation? He told many steps you need to take. I'm not metaphorical in my any explanation here, but the vehicle. So I don't want to go back and ask you what is an inertia. And inertia is something Newton's law, which breaks the, which is on the reverse of how you can make inertia move. I think there's a basic motion. So you should understand, you should be one of those guys who should be the inertia breakers, who changes the system. So I don't want to be more theoretical in this, but you have to go back and see some of the example in somebody who changed it. I said how these webinars are created, why this is so important for all of us. If you're at the end of the presentation, if you're able to pick up one skill out of the 3 presenters or 4 presenters what you had today, that is the swing we are going to create in our lives. And this is exactly I felt. I understood very simple thing. I was asking my son yesterday, if I throw a cricket ball above the mountain, what happens? There is a force that is, I have created a force to throw the ball to the mountain. Now what happens to that ball? The ball is going to come from the mountain down. So that is the potential we have, right? The amount of force I've generated to throw the ball, and the speed at which the ball comes down is a gravitational force, but the potential is generated by you. So how does one is different from the rest? Now let us look at the fastest bowler today, cricketer. Why is fast and rest? Amount of potential energy he is able to generate by himself. What is the potential energy for us as a professionals or as a students. Knowledge is a professional thing. It is not the qualification, it is education. To me, the inertia breakers are those set of people who are educated, just not qualified. Coming to the last stuff, this is when you are close to 50 or almost on the border. Some of them, my friends who are sitting there, have crossed it, but I may be on the border to cross that. We slightly start becoming spiritual in many things what we do in your life. And spiritual is not taking old monk and dipping it in thumbs up and drinking. Many times people get spirited in that also. For me, spiritual is all about re-energizing and refocusing. How many of us on a day-to-day basis sit in front of before the day, plan your work and say, what are the 10 things I want to accomplish today? How much I accomplished? What is the gap? How much time I have? I think one of the presenters said, are we asking a question? But to ask the question that, did we fix a time to learn something? So I fix a time about a couple of hours to learn or relearn something, what I've done, and try to do that. It's not that it's good or bad, but it's very important for us to move forward. So I used a word called as something called energize. Now, it's a very nice word. I think everybody says, get up, jump, have the drive, improve your catecholamines in the body, stimulate, you be on the force. That's what most of the youngsters do. This is not what I meant by energizing. Energizing is increasing effort. Person works very hard. But it's very important also to sustain and direct. So what is sustenance? Sustenance is all about increasing persistence. Increasing persistence means you are increasing your persistence. That cannot happen just by hard work. You need to rethink. And person still works longer. Now, that will not direct you to the place where you want to get the peak performance. So let's look at what is a peak performance is all about. Now we say, let's look at Virat Kohli. Okay, it's a very simple example to tell whether Virat Kohli can perform the same way till 50 years. Is it possible? No. Your peak performance will come at certain period of your life. So understand where is your peak performance, work towards it, rethink, focus, learn, and energize. Don't waste your time on unnecessary things. Today, things like a lot of things are good about the social media and articles we have, but bottom line is it is not just the articles, but it's sometimes don't waste your too much time on that. Use something which is useful, which can re-energize and refocus. Finally, I believe that leadership position by pharma professionals is important, and all of you play a very, very vital role to kindle the system. For me, the word kindle is very important because when I sit and close my eyes and feel the sensation about my body and what I think and what I practice on a day-to-day basis, for me is not what I react at that point of time is important. For me is that how my messages cross the front line or frontal cortex where amygdala is based. I think deep into the cortex and start thinking, what are the things that makes me happy next year, next 2 years, next 4 years? Is it the money? Is it the feeling of goodness? Is it the feel of things that makes others happy, or the feel of satisfaction of delivering the best I can do? And unfortunately, many a times in all this quest, we fail. But what we fail is just an experience, and how you manage that experience is very important. I always tell, Osho Rajneesh said many years back, security and freedom do not come together. If you have a secure job, there is no freedom. If you have freedom, then there is no security. So please understand this very well and go on a path to make success out of many things ahead of you. Feel free to ask, learn from experiences. I have Ramesh here, Sunil here, Kaushik, and Krishnamurthy Bhat. Though 30 years is pretty long to know some individual, but everyone has their own strength to be here, and appreciate it. Thank you once again for participating. It's lovely. I've been not speaking in these conferences for almost 2 to 3 years now. After a long time, I agreed because I couldn't say no to Sunil and Ramesh. Otherwise, best wishes. I wish we as a pharmacist could have taken a larger, I don't want to sound negative, in the COVID scenario as one of the frontline warriors, but I still feel we missed the bus because we lacked the synchrony in action and we didn't pursue the way we are. It's a just a topic to think. We can do many things in our life. Wish you all the best.
Thank you. That was super, Dr. Bopanna. As usual, you are so engaging, and it was a highly personalized talk. You gave such important facets required for self-fulfillment with the help of living and breathing examples who are very near you. So that is a very unique talent for an individual. Now, there are just one question each to be fielded by, of course, Dr. Bopanna and Dr. KM Bhat. So I will ask Dr. Bopanna in continuation. So can you please describe your a typical day? That is what they are asking. At what time you get up? What time? I mean, they're curious to know because probably that timetable would have made you what you are. That's
okay. It's a very interesting question. Somebody told me long back when I was in Toastmasters. They asked me, "How can you make a better year?" I said, we need maybe about a month extra, right? That means if there are 12 months, you have to make it 13 months. How do you make it 13 months when the God has told it is only 12 months, we are limited? So only where the place where you can cut is by sleeping less, isn't it? But sleep is very important for life, otherwise you'll die by heart attack because a lot of catecholamines, the melatonin gets washed away, the dopamine gets reset, isn't it? So a lot of other processes resets in your body. So anxiety levels goes high. So somebody taught me some, which I didn't figure out till about I was 6-7 years back. Till then, I never figured out what he said, how it was possible. My effectiveness have gone. I'm not saying efficiency. My effectiveness have gone substantially after I underwent a fantastic meditation program called Vipassana. Vipassana is a 11-day program conducted by, it's nothing to do with any religion or any task. It is just in breathing exercises where you spend 11 days without talking to anyone, no mobile phones, no laptops. You're disconnected from your family. You meditate from 4:30 to 9:30 in the night. You develop some such skills. That skill has helped me to reduce my sleeping. Okay, just straight away easiest mantra to do. So I typically sleep between 12 and 5:30, 5:15. And weekly I run 3 days in the evenings. That is, and 3 days I play golf. So 2 days I play golf. 3 days I sometimes 3 days also. I run 3 days in a week. That means from 6 o'clock in the evening, about 7:15 I run. I run anything between 10 to 12 kilometers alternate days. Then I play golf on 2 days, Tuesday and Saturday or Sunday. One of them I play. Okay. Sunday generally I don't do. I want to spend time with the family. On a weekday morning, if I get up, I'm just given between the 2 days I give a schedule. If I get up in the morning, 6 to maybe about 6 onwards, I prepare myself for my day. 6 to 8, I tend to study something, read something. If I don't play golf on the days I don't play golf. 6 to 8, I read. I prepare my day for that day. Then I have my breakfast, spend some time with the family. Then typically I start my day at 9:45. Unlike most of you who start at 8 o'clock. Okay, so 10:30 I go to office or for any meetings. I first 15-20 minutes I look at what I need to accomplish that day, if it is important, not important. Until 5:30 I try to be in office. Sometime maybe at 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's nothing restricted for me. I can get up anytime and go. So 5:30 if I come back. The days I run, when I come back, then I go for a run or something. The day I don't run, I'm at home. What I have not accomplished in the morning, I try to accomplish in the evening sometimes. Then 1 hour I spend time with my kids to understand what they're doing, if they have any difficulties and stuff. Then watch some television, maybe some important news, not all over the place. If I have any sporting events, I do that. I go to bed typically about 10:45, 11. Nowadays it's been a little late, about 11:30 due to summer and stuff like that. But I don't feel tired at the end of the day, nor when I get up I'm tired. So I'm typically work from 6 to possibly about. I work typically 13 to 14 hours a day.
Super. Thank you so much, Dr. Bopanna, for sharing your trade secrets. So now I just want to mention Dr. Bopanna has also run the New York Marathon. Now coming to Dr. KM Bhat, like he was saying about his schedule in his earthly life here. Now I'm talking about your Antarctic life. So what was your schedule there like? And secondly, what was your experiment? And thirdly, did you feel lonely there? I mean, these three questions I have here, but more questions are there. You answer these three questions first, Dr. KM Bhat.
Okay, schedule in Antarctic is exactly same as our schedules in India, in the sense that summers there is no sunset, and winters there's no sunrise. The place where, of course, it depends on the longitude, latitude of the place where you are. The Indian station is at around 70 degrees south, where in the summer the day is equivalent to around 63 days here. That means for the calendar year 2019, I mean for the year 2019-20, the sunrise was on November 23rd, 2019, and after that the first sunset was on 27th January 2020. And those sunsets, of course, it's very gradual. That sunset was only for 10 minutes, and then it slowly increases. And then now, yeah, exactly yesterday, May 21st, the sun has set in Antarctic. And now the next sun they see there is on July 28th or something like this. July 26th or 28th. No, so you cannot have your day and night schedule like the way we typically have in the mainland. So, and you cannot change it. So, irrespective of what is the outside environment was, our day used to be typical India based on our Indian clock. Fortunately, the station where I was there, Bharti, which is very near latitudinally to India, so that is why our time difference was only half an hour. Whereas the other station, other research station of India, that which is called as Maitri, is around 5.5 hours ahead of Indian time. They would, of course, have a different experience. So the schedule used to be typical morning, get up, have your breakfast, and then finish your ablutions and have breakfast, and then maybe by around 9 o'clock have some meetings. The life there is very difficult because of the tough conditions, and whenever you have to move, step out of the research station. Research station has a complete controlled atmosphere. It's maintained at around 24-25 degrees centigrade, and then other things you have on light and automatic lights and light controls, etc. But outside is not that. Outside temperature, what you can experience maximum, the hottest summer temperature there is around 6 degrees centigrade. And a minimum, of course, now it can go up to -35, -40. Even in summers, it can go up to -15 or so, the period when I was there. And then there is something called as wind chill effect. There is very, very fast speed wind blowing there. So the temperature what you experience outside is much lower than what a thermometer records. So if you have to step out of the out of the station, you need to wear at least 3 layers of clothing. We were provided special clothing, 4 layers of clothing was provided. Of course, one layer is our personal cloth, and 3 layers are provided. And then minimum 3 what you need in summers, winters. Of course, you need all the four of them. Without that, you cannot. And then, there are no third cross and fourth mains. It's all vast snow. So obviously, you cannot venture out alone. The rule says nobody can venture out alone. You need to have a partner called as buddy partner. You have to find out, the moment you get inducted, you will be assigned a buddy partner. So you have to move with your buddy partner, whether he has some field work or not, irrespective of that. You have to move together. 9 to evening, maybe 5:30 or 6, we would have the experimental works, the typical lab works. Everything is in the station, and unless otherwise, we go out to the field to collect some samples, which also can happen anytime, not necessarily in the morning. Even at 10 o'clock in the night, the watch clock time 10, you can go out and collect the samples because there will be enough sunlight. But generally, it is tuned to be from 9 in the morning, whenever, if you have to go out. If the work is around 3-4 hours, and there are no restaurants around, there's no human habitat except the research station. So even to have water, either you have to carry your water or you come back to station. So if your work is of smaller duration, maybe a couple of hours, 3 hours, then morning you go and then come back for lunch. Or if it is longer, you go in the morning, pack your lunch, take it, and go back. Come when you finish your work. You need to take care of time very well. Otherwise, generally, when here, when it starts getting darker, you think, we'll go home and the day is ending. It does not happen there. I had a very typical experience. Once I went afternoon around 3 o'clock in the 3 o'clock for a field trip, and then I did not realize the time because there was no sunset. So we were collecting samples, and it was very interesting. And then on sampling spots, we kept on moving, and then by around, of course, everybody carries a radio set there. So communication is not all that good. 9 o'clock in the night, I realized that we have spent enough time. Now we should go back. And then by the time we turned out and came near the station, the whole station was partly panicked because they could not communicate to us and they could not find us. I was supposed to come back by 6 o'clock, and by around 9:30, 10, I came back, and there was a big relief on the faces of the people concerned. So this happens only first time, but otherwise, yes, routine is you go in the evening. Go back after your field work, go back in the evening, and then even when you are working in the lab, you work at your convenience. Sometimes maybe up to 11, 12 you work, and then sleep, and morning again get up as usual. And what was the second question, Simla? I forgot now answering first question.
No, I think it is sunset time here. It is India. Antarctica is having long summer. So last question, you tell me, was it lonely there?
No, absolutely no.
Achha. Okay.
Because constantly there's something called, I showed the photograph, that's Indian station, where around 30 people were leaving, scientists plus the logistics people.
Okay.
And we have everybody, all 30 are living in the same premises.
Okay.
And it was never lonely.
Brilliant. I think it was very, very inspiring because we had all the 3 stellar giants, Dr. Ramesh, Dr. Bopanna, and of course, Dr. KM Bhat, who has been a researcher in the Antarctica. This shows the way to everybody, not only to students, but also to the community pharmacists and everybody else on how we can mold our life in a very powerful way. So I request Dr. Kaushik to take over.
Thank you very much, sir, for all the speakers. Before I conclude, a small thing that I want to share with the Adichunchanagiri University is that the MUT, that what is it doing is that, I'm emotionally connected to the Adichunchanagiri University. Is that, my dad did his higher education from Adichunchanagiri University. Then he went on to do his first PU, second PU. Then he did his BSc there. Then he also did his MSc. Then he went on to become the lecturer there. Then he did his assistant professor. Then he retired as a principal. So this is not the story of my dad, it's a story of thousands of students that's happening. Thanks to the MUT. Thank you for collaborating for this webinar, sir. Thank you, Ramesh, sir. Thank you very much. It means a lot. And thank you, Ramesh, sir, for sharing your valuable insights about Education 4.0. I hope all the viewers, attendees have congratulated you for whatever you have shared. Thank you very much, sir. And coming to Krishnamurthy, but sir, I think you are always adding the feather to our cap. A pharmacist who have went to become an Antarctica, it's always a proud for us, and all the viewers, they also wish to do something in that sort. Thank you for your sharing your inspiring story, sir. Thank you very much. And coming to Bopana, sir, it's like Tycoon speaking to all the attendees here. Thank you very much. You attend. I think mainly you distinguish between the qualification, education, and how you should implement the education. Thank you very much, sir. And to some of the queries that we are hearing is that you didn't get the certificates of attending the seminars. We'll be sharing the certificates. If anything is there, you can always write us to the mail. We'll be sending you the certificates. And tomorrow we have an excellent session. We are collaborating with Indian Society for Clinical Research. As you know, recently, May 20th, we celebrated International Clinical Day Trial and the importance of clinical trials in this COVID-19 situation. I hope everyone joins it. And thank you very much. Jai Pharmacists, Jai Hind. Thank you very much once again, all the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jai Pharmacist.
Sunil sir, I forgot to know you are, the captain of the ship, always roping in people. Thank you very much. Because of you, that as you mentioned in the starting of the webinar, the doctors are evolving, and we pharmacists should also evolve. Thank you very much.
That's the point.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Of the pharmacist, by the pharmacist, for the pharmacist. Thank you very much, presenters. Thank you very much, delegates and attendees. Bye. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.